Welcome to Dropped In, Jen. I am just so deeply honored to welcome you to our Dropped In community, and it's just such a blessing to be here with you today.
Thank you for having me. I was really looking forward to our conversation today, so I'm excited to see where it goes.
My pleasure. So, I would love for you to share who you are, what you do, and what does becoming iconic mean to you?
Yeah, I would say first and foremost, the most important title in my entire world in life is mom. I'm a mom of 4 kids, and I've been raising babies and businesses for the last almost now 20 years. And that feels really special and something to celebrate. And I really have been sort of looking back at the journey of the last 20 years and a lot of the ups and the downs and the twists and the turns. And I think what I really stand for and what becoming iconic stands for me is women really being so open to fully expressing who they are and remembering that we don't need to sacrifice any part of ourselves in order to have all the things that have been placed on our heart. And I remember when I had my first daughter, Gracie, I had a very thriving marketing career at the time. And I remember when I held her for the first time, I really had that feeling that a lot of women contemplate of I have to choose. I'm at this crossroads. I have to choose to be a present, wonderful mom or my career because I didn't see how those 2 worlds could actually blend together. I didn't see how they could coexist. There had been no example for me to look at. And so she was the obvious choice, and I severed that part of who I was to be a present mom and left my career. When entrepreneurship was sort of placed on my lap, I wasn't really looking for anything, but I was simultaneously. I was just craving to know who I was outside of mom. I had lost a lot of who I was in terms of identity as a woman, as a human, as Jen.
Mhm.
And I loved also being home with her. And I had had a second in the interim as well. And when somebody talked to me about entrepreneurship, I remember this light bulb moment. I remember just instantly getting it. Like, actually, this is the best of both worlds. I can design my life, I can design my days, I can be present with my kids, and also really see what I'm made of in this lifetime, really go out there and contribute to the world. And so that's really been my mission personally. And also with the work that I do is teaching women to just really unravel some of these ideas and thoughts that are expired and to really look at the infinite capacity that I believe is our superpower. I really like I am you couldn't shake me on that belief. I think we fear that so much that we never really play with what's possible. And so that's what becoming iconic is in a very high level nutshell.
Oh my goodness. I just adore you. From what I understand, becoming iconic came through as a result from something that you were navigating with your health. Is that correct?
Yeah, I had built a massive personal brand and that had grown exponentially. So when I started entrepreneurship, I was in life and health coaching, and I also started affiliate marketing. So I was working with products and helping women really generate their health because I was going through my own sort of metamorphosis after having 2 kids. So I really wanted to find my own personal health. So it was very natural for me to coach on that. This was before, by the way, coaching was what it was, okay? We didn't have the internet. Well, we had the internet, but not social media, and it certainly wasn't what you got paid for. It was like free coaching, but I was doing that and it grew exponentially, and there became a point where I, as a woman, was just changing. My seasons in life were changing, my interests were changing, and I really wanted to have a broader discussion with women that I was working with. I was really kind of tired of diet culture. And to be honest with you, I was participating in a lot of that, just talking about, cutting out foods and over exercising. And I felt tired of my own message. And I also started to feel misaligned with my message. But at the same time, I had this massive business. So there's this really like this polarity, this duality of I've been blessed with so much abundance. I mean, women were asking me daily, constantly, "How can I build what you've built?" Like, so business coaching really kind of took on its own role organically. So I had this big business, but yet I felt misaligned with what I was doing through that business. And so I sat there for a minute. Things like guilt. I shouldn't feel this way. I'm so blessed. Look at the money I'm making. I was at that point, you know, in my 30s and I was making more money than most people in a month than most people made in a year. It was so extraordinary, but it just I had this ache. And so I went to a conference. I was speaking at a conference, and I went to that conference, and the whole time getting up on the stage, I thought, "Oh, I don't know if I can talk about this anymore." But of course, you go and you're being asked to speak. So I got on the stage, went back to my hotel room, and I just didn't feel right. Something felt really off, and it was more energetic than physical, but I just felt really off. And tears started to come, and I just had uncontrollable crying. It was like this purging. Something was brewing in me, and from that, I actually ended up hemorrhaging. So I was hospitalized twice through that hemorrhage. I had multiple blood transfusions. They didn't know what was going on. And my second time in, I mean, I couldn't even get out of bed because it was so severe. And I had this woman walk in my room, and I hadn't met her yet. She wasn't a part of the hospital team caring for me. And she said, "Hi, I'm an OBGYN. And I just wanted to let you know that I looked at your chart, and I don't think this is physical at all. I think there's something manifesting in your body that you're supposed to be creating something and you're stifling your creativity. You're not moving forward with something you're supposed to be doing. And so I think you should look at that. And, I wish you the best." And she walked back out of my, I was gonna say hotel room, it definitely wasn't a hotel room, my hospital room, and I remember feeling really stunned because that was very odd for a white jacket, white coat doctor to say something woo-woo because it was very woo-woo. So that felt strange and odd, but it felt like so much truth at the same time. Like, as soon as she said it, it was this moment, this felt like a lightning strike of that's exactly what this is. I'm stifling my creativity. I'm forcing something in my life, and my body is almost forcing it out of me, like birthing it out of me. And I healed quite quickly after that realization. Things started to really just turn around. And that was sort of like, I would say, I would call them God winks, but I think this is more like a God nudge, a God push into really following through on the things that were placed on my heart, and remembering that I wasn't necessarily burning something down to build something else. It was an honoring and a follow through of what I was being guided to do. And that was actually the birth of the brand becoming iconic.
My goodness. Full body shivers. Thank goodness for that nurse. Wow.
Yeah.
In my past life, I was a nurse, and that is unheard of in the medical world. So
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
your
I
fallen
I
angel.
I do feel that way, like, I wonder, is she oh, makes me cry. Um, was she like an earth angel? Like, was that did I experience something otherworldly? Like, she I never saw her again, like, it was so fast and but yet so powerful, and I do I don't think I even need to have the answers to that to know the impact that it had, and it did what it was supposed to do for me, and it was to send me on a new trajectory that honored the road and the path and the business that I had built. It did, it honored that, but it allowed me to become who I was meant to be.
My goodness. I'm a firm believer that your body is your best business plan. Would you agree?
Yes,
Yes.
especially after that. I think
Yes.
I don't think I was that in tune or self-aware or tapped in. I was slightly. I wasn't, I wasn't, somebody that was, unaware, but I certainly wasn't as close to who I am, the cues and clues that I am today. That was a really big turning point for me to listen, pause, pay attention, be curious.
Mhm.
Why am I feeling this way? What's going on? I think that curiosity has been just one of the greatest attributes to holding the success that came after that I didn't really necessarily expect, but was able to generate.
Wow. My goodness. Incredible. Well, I'm grateful you are here. I'm grateful for the
Me
work that
too.
you do. I just have so much love and respect for the work that you do, Jen. I remember finding you actually through Allison Bird, and I was like, "Who is this person?"
Allison. I love Allison.
Allison. So do I. She's a blessing.
Yes.
But I found you through her, and I was like, "Who is this person? What is becoming iconic?" And I
Oh,
instantly just felt so drawn to you and your brand and the work that you do. So
oh, wow. Yeah, Allison was another really pivotal person. I had another big turning point with her. Do you mind if I share this story? I
please
think it's
do.
really, really important story just for us to all kind of look in the mirror. So I hired Allison immediately as soon as I met her. I only needed 5 minutes in her presence to know that there was something really special about who she was. I really appreciated the way she articulated herself. I really appreciated her personal power and presence. She was stylish, she was fun. I didn't even know what she did. I hired her as a mentor because I literally just wanted to be around her and learn through her and especially become a better communicator, which I believe she really did do with me. Our first call together, I was so nervous, and I remember thinking, "Oh my gosh, like, maybe I'm out of my league. This person is just so spectacular, and what if I don't speak well and, mess up my words?" Like, I was just so in my head. And we got on this call, and I remember my face blushing, like, I'd feel the heat and just thinking, "Just impress her, just impress her." And within 5 minutes of our call, she paused me and stopped me and said, "You're in a performative persona. I can see it, I can feel it. And it's going to be really difficult for me to know you and for me to coach you and mentor you if you're in this persona, because it's not the Jen that I really want to know. It's not the Jen that's going to be the magic." And so she gave me homework, a few things that she wanted me to do that would bring me back to myself so that when we met again, I would put down this veil and take down this wall and this protection ultimately, which is what it was, to be just in presence with her, in relationship with her. And I remember being so embarrassed and simultaneously so seen and called to action. I remember thinking, she's absolutely right. Like, where's my confidence? Where's my personal power? Where is Jen has something to bring to the room too? Because it's not like I was a brand new baby entrepreneur with nothing to share and no experience behind me. So she really, really helped me with my confidence, with my posture, and with that self-awareness again to remember, like, I remember she said to me, "You've already impressed me. I wouldn't be working with you. You don't need to try to impress me." And I've really brought that forward in my life of allowing people to see me,
Mhm.
allowing people to understand I don't need to be perfect and polished all the time. I don't need to be viewed a certain way. And as a matter of fact, the more I am myself, I believe the more authentic and real our connections are going to be. So she really did like kind of shake, I call it like mess my hair up and shake me up a little bit to get out of this fear of being seen and to step into the spotlight fully. And it was really pivotal in my career.
Mm. How long did you work with her for?
Years.
Oh, okay.
Years, yeah, and I would still call her my mentor. I mean,
Mhm,
not in the same type of relationship, but
mhm.
years. Yeah, I really love being in her space.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I met her at an event a few years ago, and I was like, "I am going to work with her one day." I did a one-day intensive with her, which was incredible.
Yes.
And she called me out too. She's like, "There's a defensiveness about you." I was like a way of
Yeah.
protecting myself. So it was yeah, it
Mhm.
was a huge catalyst for me as well. So incredible.
Isn't it great when a woman can see us
Mhm.
and can like, I'm saying see us, not just, "Oh, I like your hair." It's like really see who we are and with love and compassion, but yet this fierce, like, just get you to the heart kind of manner, tell
Mhm.
us what we need to hear. Like, I feel like she really taught me true mentorship of not always being the cheerleader and hype squad, but saying truths because you've built the trust and that someone knows you genuinely love them and you're devoted to their growth. And so sometimes I'm going to say things and share things with you that you need to hear in order to improve, in order to, like with my brand, become iconic. And
Mhm.
she, again, really taught me that because I was able to receive the feedback. Yes, I was embarrassed, but I could feel how sincere it was that she wanted the best for me. And did you have that same experience?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And to this day, it just allows me to drop the armor and connect on that deep soul level.
Oh, we both had that same pivotal moment with her. Isn't that special? We got to tell her.
It is.
I yeah, I just feel like these people come into your life. It's divine appointment. People come into your life to stretch you
Mhm.
and almost like give you a fresh set of eyes. And
Mhm.
that's why mentorship to me, I mean, I can't fathom life without mentorship. It's a non-negotiable for me simply because even where I am today and all the success, the portfolio, the resume, the all the life experience I've been through, I am on the journey like everybody else, and there's a constant learning, a constant evolution, and a constant growth. I am so committed to the pursuit of myself in this lifetime, and mentors are such great facilitators to that.
Mhm. I couldn't agree more, and you shared divine appointment. So I shared this with you in a voice note, but I'll share it to our community. So, as I found you through Allison, I then saw you at an event with Andrea Crowder. I was like, one day I'm going to be in the room with Jen. And I was like, I don't know what that means or what that looks like. And it was at the Unreserved book launch where I actually got to have dinner across the table from you. And I was like, far out. This is something that I truly manifested. And you said something to me that just is embedded in my heart that I truly feel you see me. Because you,
Mhm.
you said there's something different about you. And I know you wouldn't just say that, but I've embedded that in my heart. It's like, oh, that just, I felt so seen in that moment. So I can't thank you enough for that, Jen.
Thank you. Yeah, and I do see you, and there is something so special about you. You have an aura, a presence, an energy, an essence to you that is really like genuine and sincere and honest and open. And so, absolutely, I see you. And I remember you telling me that, and I thought, gosh, life is so full of magic and miracles. And if only we believed sooner, if only we thought that we could, if only we trusted, if only we just moved forward and sometimes not even knowing where the forward's going, like what is possible. But so often, people think that and it's this fleeting thought of like, oh, yeah, well, and then they never think about it again. But what I can tell with you, just using that as the example, is again, because of who you are, you gave that energy. You actually believed it. You thought, one day I will. And because of that energy and belief, it happened. And, I really do wonder how many people could just even learn through this example of that belief. I think a lot of people that I work with and who I've been sort of just blessed to be in company with, that's that one big missing ingredient that I really wish more women specifically would pay more attention to is like filling their belief bucket. Because if you don't believe in your dreams and you don't believe in your goals and you don't believe in your vision, like nobody else is, and it's not anybody else's job.
Mhm.
Sure, you can have someone like myself that can pour belief into you, but your belief comes first because you've got to share it with me first in order for me to hear it and see it and understand it. Then I can pour belief over. But if you're not even willing to say it out loud and it's this hum and this whisper, and you go to bed at night and you're thinking about it, and then you talk yourself out of it day after day after day, I just feel like, oh my goodness, for what? Like, for what are you talking yourself out of this? Why is it so important to gather the list of reasons why not, when it only takes one reason why? It only takes one reason why to start. We can
Mhm.
find 1,000 reasons why we shouldn't or why not now. So belief, and that's just what that example of what you just shared, it's like that belief in something has so much power.
Mhm. It does. So you mentioned you've been in the room of being a coach before there was coaches, essentially,
Yeah.
before it was a trend, before it was like the thing to do. But
Yes.
what do you think differentiates a coach from being iconic?
Mm. That's a loaded question, and do I have permission just to be really
Mm,
honest here? And
go ahead.
okay, so I wanna say what I'm about to say, but I need to give a little context.
Mhm.
I truly don't judge necessarily. I shouldn't say that. I maybe in some ways I do, so I have to also be honest with self. I try not to judge. Really, I do, what's out there, because I do believe there's someone for everybody. However, as someone who's done this for a long time, there's a level of wisdom and experience in me that aches a little bit with what I see on the internet. There
Mhm.
is.
Mhm.
And it's not, I have to say this too in the context. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. I'm simply saying I feel I'm different than a lot of things that are out there. So it's not a better than, it's just a different than.
Mhm.
So, my fear and my worry for most people is that they become a little cynical against coaching as a whole because of what has taken place on the internet. It was a rush of fame and fortune. A lot of people got involved during a really great time on the internet. but they got involved for the wrong reasons. They got involved because they saw a lot of people making a lot of money and they thought, I could do this too. And so I do believe everybody's intention was good. I believe the best in everybody. I really do. Maybe there's an exception to the rule, but let's not talk about that. So I believe people started for the right reasons, but I don't believe it really gave goodness and wholeness to the industry,
Mhm.
and it really turned a lot of people off, and I get it. I was turned off. I'm a mentor. I was turned off of the industry.
Mhm.
Yet, what it did, the positive in everything that we saw is we saw hype, we saw money marketing, we saw people feeding off of one another, and it happened without discernment. It happened because a lot of people just didn't know any better at the time, but we know better now. And so
Mhm.
the goodness in what occurred and what makes an iconic coach is, in fact, experience, is, in fact, their character, their values,
Mhm.
their reason why, their portfolio. I feel like if people actually interviewed their mentors before hiring them, we would all make really good decisions because there's great mentors out there, myself, yourself, there's good ones out there who are doing it for the right reasons. Ask the right questions. If
Mhm.
you ask somebody about their experience and they can't answer clearly, or you can tell they're embellishing, that's a red flag. I
Mhm.
would just think, I need to think about that. But if you can interview someone and someone's giving you case study after case study, I've been in the industry before it was an industry. I've been mentoring for 20 years. Here's the results. Then you can feel positive and confident in that investment with that mentor because there's a track record that proves the success. So I do think an iconic coach is someone who's willing to gain the experience, who's willing to do this for the long haul. They're not in it for fast money and fast fame. They're in it because they genuinely want to help others. And when
Mhm.
you have a servant led heart, when you are of service, it's inevitable that you will be successful as a coach because a true coach, not that we have to put people before ourselves, but we put people beside ourselves. I say to my clients all the time, I don't need to be way ahead of you. Let's lock arms and let's walk this together. Let's figure this out. And I think real leadership is sometimes I am ahead because I've gained that experience. I can say, "Hey," I can turn around and say, "Hey, here's what to watch out for." There's going to be times where I'm even behind you because I
Right.
need to give you a little push. I need to give you a little support up this part of the mountain. Like it's steep. So I'm behind you, kind of giving you that kind of support. But the majority of the time, we're going to be locked arm to arm. There's no pedestal, there's no need for ego. It's
Mhm.
simply, I have some things that can really genuinely help you and support you. I want to provide that to you. And we come into relationship and partnership, and it should feel sweet. It should feel abundant. It should feel loving. And if you have those things, I would say you have an iconic coach.
I just love you. My goodness. You are just such a breath of fresh air, truly. The online space is very noisy,
It
and
is.
I implore people to really utilize their discernment of, you know, uh, what I find the most frustrating is that there's coaches who are incredible at marketing themselves.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
And maybe not so integral with the actual work that they facilitate behind the landing page, right?
Yes.
Where there's individuals like myself and, not from an egoic space, but like I was born to do this quite
Mhm.
literally. My why is so deep. And the one thing that I struggle with is the marketing concept. I'm constantly learning and growing, but it's like really utilize the discernment within you to know if this is an aligned partnership or
Yeah.
not. Mm.
Yeah. And you nailed it. I mean, even with AI now, anybody can write a sexy sales page. Anybody can write captions that are very provoking and alluring and seductive. Anybody can do that now. So,
Mhm.
what we have to do is discern through that and get to know that person, like really understand their character and values. Like that speaks for itself. So, you've got to, again, interview, talk, ask questions. If someone can't be bothered to answer your questions, like I've heard coaches say, just send them the link. And if they have questions, they're not an ideal client. And I think, how dare we teach that? How dare we teach another woman that her questions are not relevant? that her questions are not important and that we don't have time to
Mhm.
answer those questions. I feel like those things have been such pollution in the industry. And, again, I see with money marketing, I think to myself all the time, like I rarely talk about the money
Mm.
I've created. Rarely. If I say it, usually it's in celebration with a point. There's a point to it. But
Mhm.
I do not show my Stripe accounts and I made so much last month because I don't want you hiring me thinking that if I hire her, I'm going to have fast cash and have that kind of success. You might actually supersede me. I might be a glass ceiling to you. And also, my my success is 20 years mature. Okay. And so we're not comparing apples to apples. It's not the right reason to hire someone. The money they're making really doesn't have a lot of relevance because we don't even know if they did that again. See, a lot of mentors, this is a few years ago, I had a lot of them come forward to me and they're just soaked in desperation. And I worked with a lot of them on leadership because they had one really big month and they declared it out on the internet, but it went right back down to months that they were having consistently. And they felt out of integrity. They
Mhm.
felt like they were living in like an imposter syndrome. They felt like they were basically lying to the internet. And so that, what I had to teach them is first of all, you've done it once, you can do it again. But this is the point of money marketing. It doesn't matter what someone made last month because it didn't tell us what they made the month after and the month after. Like, are you sustainable? Do you have a legacy business or do you have flash in the pan months like a one hit wonder? Like, I don't want a one hit wonder business. I want something that I can rest in. And I remember telling one of them, we were on a call and I said to her, I said, "What's the goal?" And she's like, "I don't know. I'm just so stressed and my nervous system is so out of whack." And I said to her, "Isn't the goal to have a business that we can trust, a business we can rest in?" And as soon as I said that, she just started sobbing.
Mm.
And she said, "The idea of a business I could rest in, like that never even occurred to me that I could have that." And I said, "Yes, absolutely you can, but stop forcing and pressuring everything and instead pay way more attention to who you are, the results you are providing, and where this great idea is going." And it doesn't matter what your bank account looks like today because it can change overnight. I've seen that happen too. I've seen people who are, just stuck at this income level and we work together and suddenly, boom, it's like they just skyrocket. I call it hockey stick moments. They have the hockey stick moment in their business, and it's so much fun to watch, where I think a lot of times people give up right before then. So, to kind of round all this up, what I'm saying is we got to be really careful about what we pay attention to and what we're giving priority to. Like, are you giving priority to fast cash just to say that you made fast cash? And congratulations to everybody who has. It's amazing. Thank you for being evidence. But I would say most of us, if we're being really honest, we want to have a business that provides freedoms. We want to
Mhm.
have a business that gives us time.
Yeah.
We want to have a business that gives us financial means and wealth
Mm.
because through both of those things comes that like entrepreneurial freedom that we're all looking for. And if you have one without the other, it never feels free. And so I love teaching that to the people that I work with because we don't need to chase. We just
Mhm.
need to improve day after day after day. And if we're in that pursuit, that promise, those hockey stick moments happen. They do.
I love that visual. The hockey stick moment. So with that, many entrepreneurs are chasing visibility. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, the chase maybe, but I would say visibility needs to be everybody's big priority.
Yeah. But many
Yeah,
can't hold it, right?
right?
So what do you think is the missing link, for those individuals that are gonna be able to sustain that success?
Well, this is a great question to ask me right now because I just had a private client literally go viral. I just recorded a podcast on this. Like it was like watching numbers go brrrr, like it was insane. I've never actually seen it in real life in this way. Like it was wild.
Wow.
And immediately when we realized she was going viral, I said to her, "This means nothing if we do not create community and we do not create clients and we do not create connection. None of these numbers mean anything. And I know because I lost my social media and I had my first $1 million in 6 months after that with less than 1,000 followers. So proof, I'm the evidence. It doesn't mean anything. It's the quality, not the quantity. So as this was happening, I quickly grabbed her and I said, we need to work fast. And so we built out systems and built out really turnkey strategies that could move these people into her world. And her business has taken off. And we also had to work with the leadership of this. But what I would say, like to answer your question, is we got to be careful what we're paying attention to with visibility because we're all dying for the viral moment. But if your business is not set up to hold that viral moment, it'll mean nothing.
Mm.
It'll be a cold audience like it was on the Explore page 5 minutes ago. So, what we need to do is make sure that we are setting ourselves up expecting success and visibility. So, that means your leadership, your nervous system. I mean, this is what you teach. They need to be immersed in your world, learning how to hold them more from an energetic place because we can get in our way, we can self sabotage, and we can do all sorts of really crazy things when we start to taste and touch success. So I would say really work on your nervous system, work on your belief system so that, you almost play with yourself. If this were to happen, how would I be? If someone were to come at me on the internet, what would I do? And so we're not going to manifest negativity because manifestation can only happen if you're giving it energy. We're not doing that. Instead, we're being stewards of our business and saying, if these things were to happen, how am I going to lead it? It's preparation. It's like an athlete. You go in and you prepare for your big moment. And that's what we need to do as well in our businesses. So the first thing is making sure you're working on your beliefs, your nervous system, your energy to hold more, preparing for that. Second thing is, what are you going to do with the more? Is the business set up for success? So if tomorrow you went viral, would you be able to have ManyChat turned on? Would you have someone welcoming people in the DMs? Would you have an offer even to give them? Do you have a nurturing sequence? Like all these pieces that need to be in place from a marketing perspective in order to make sure that you're welcoming people into the community. And I would also say how to hold more is to remember to whom much is given, much is expected. And so when you are given the more, there is going to be a leveling up. There's going to be some disruption, both in your physical and your emotional for sure. But that's when we go back into that belief, back into that trust, because you've been here before. Remember when you started the business and you were like, is everybody going to think I'm crazy? And remember when you had your first client, you thought, are they going to think I'm, as good as I said I was going to be? Like we've had these moments, we've been gathering these moments. So the next time it happens, just remember that you've been groomed for this moment. You've prepared for this moment and trust it.
Mhm. Oh my goodness. How fortunate is your client to have you? Your clients, I should say plural.
Well, that we
That
had
one
a lot of
specifically.
fun with that
Yeah.
viral moment because it converted and her membership blew up and she's got it just added so much energy to her. Like it's really I feel so blessed to have witnessed it. Like I say to her, she's like, "Thank you." And I'm like, "You know what? Thank you because this was so much fun to witness it actually working and being placed properly that we actually scale and grow a business from something like this. And we don't just sit there with big eyes and like, look at me and all my followers." It's just like it means nothing. It's
No.
like, what does it look like with those people coming in your world and feeling blessed by the offers that you have?
Yes, and it's truly life-changing. It really
Yes.
is. Like, it
Yeah.
sounds like her whole world shifted overnight.
It did. It
Yeah.
did. And
Yes.
who she was shifted as well, right? It's like because she got sick after that. So I said, well, there's the up level flu. That's
Yep.
we can expect that. That's a normal thing. So she got the up level flu. We worked through that. And I think the biggest thing too, this is worth saying to people listening, is I said to her as well, and I've been really adamant about this, almost like I think ad nauseum to her, but it's my job. I said, we have to also maintain this momentum. We don't want another fleeting moment. Like there's too many fleeting moments in life and in business. So how can we now leverage what just happened and keep this going? Like ride the wave, surf it for as long as you can, because we know there's going to be another wave, but it's not that they're on top of each other, right? So let's really make sure we ride this one so that you get as much momentum and like leverage to what happened for as long as we possibly can. And so that's been very strategic as well. So we've really had a lot of fun in riding this wave.
Oh, so, so beautiful. I'm curious, Jen. Marcia and I laugh all the time about if you're not searching Indeed once a month for work, you're not really growing and expanding yourself enough. Do you have those moments where you're going on Indeed and researching jobs to go back to? Or do you ever imagine selling everything and moving to a deserted island and having no phone?
That I do, but I am actually officially unemployable. I've been unemployable for a really, really long time. I just believe no one could afford me and nobody would agree to my terms. Like, just it just would not work. What I think we do when we sort of dream and almost go back to, like, maybe it wasn't so bad, and I can say this because I've been through, times in my life where you have that, like, stop point, and then you look back and, "Was it so bad?" We start to, glamorize the very thing we didn't want to do anymore when we are in the work and when we feel maybe that things aren't going at the speed that we would desire. We, again, start glamorizing the very thing that we wanted to pivot away from.
Mhm.
Doesn't look so bad anymore. It's like the ex-boyfriend, right? Was he really so bad? I don't know. Like, maybe it wasn't what I thought so we do that because comfort, we remember what that felt like, and I think in entrepreneurship, the comfort we often miss is that stability. You know,
Mhm.
you knew what your paycheck was gonna be every 2 weeks, you knew what your hours were, you knew what your role and job and responsibilities were, so there was a lot of consistency when you're an employee or working for somebody else. In entrepreneurship, you literally eradicate anything like that. I mean, we can build stable businesses for sure, but there's going to be things happening all the time. Like, if someone could be a fly on the wall on my in my days, they would be flabbergasted. Mama for 2 companies, executive team, lots of clients, running my social media, like all the things. There's just so many moving parts. There's always a drama, always a drama somewhere, and that's okay because leadership is driving through that drama. Leadership is not making it a bigger deal than it needs to be. And so I don't glamorize, nor do I ever desire to work for somebody else again. It's just not in my future,
Mhm.
and it wasn't even in my past. I was not a great employee, because I just didn't understand why people cared how what hours I worked if I got the job done, and I was very good at my job. I didn't understand this, like, wanting to be in control. It's like, it's obvious if I'm doing it or not, but so I was always a little rebellious with stuff like that. But then do I dream of selling everything and going to a deserted island? Sometimes.
Mhm.
So if I'm being honest, sometimes I have those dreams. They're moments.
Mhm.
I know those moments and I lead those moments. The moments are usually when I'm not looking after myself. Those moments
Mhm.
are usually when something's happening. It just feels like a lot and a lot on my plate, or I'm dealing with a certain issue. That's just human nature, right? It's like, just burn it all down. I want to hide. Like, that's my way of self-sabotaging, actually, is to want to go under a weighted blanket, binge watch shows all day and pretend there's no world outside of my bedroom. So I know that about myself, so I can lead that. So it feels like, that's what I want, but is it what I desire? Absolutely not. I mean, I even have those days as a mom, if I'm being honest, right? There's some of
Yeah.
those days where you're just like, oh my gosh, I just want where nobody needs me and nobody asks me for food and nobody needs me to drive them somewhere. But when I think of the opposite, I don't desire to not have children. Right?
Mhm.
I don't desire the opposite of that feeling. I don't really wanna go to an abandoned island and not be serving people and living my life and putting myself out on the skinny branch every day. That's what I wanna do. I don't wanna be on an island by myself, and so I have to remind myself of, like, what is the opposite, and is that really what I desire? The answer is always no, but then I have to follow up with the question of, what am I not giving myself right now? What do I need right now in order to work through this so that feeling dissipates? And 9 times out of 10, it's stillness. I call it Sabbath, just being alone with myself. Like, I need a lot of Sabbath. That's just my human character. So I know I need to be alone. I need to pause. I need to not touch the world for a minute. Doesn't take long, actually. And I regroup and I'm good again. So it's self-awareness true. We've said that a couple times throughout this podcast, haven't we? It's really that noticing and being able to work through it and know how to fill your cup and remembering that the opposite isn't actually what you desire. It's just you need to do something to tend to yourself in the moment.
Yeah, 100%. It truly is like a little red flag. It's like, okay, what am I avoiding? What am I not supporting myself
Mhm.
with? So thank you for
Mhm.
sharing that. And I'm going to take on I'm officially unemployable as well
You
because
are. You're
I
unemployable.
couldn't even imagine.
I it would take something I don't even know. It would take something really special, and I even if that thing was really special, I still don't think I could give up everything I've worked for. And I even think that in like relationships, business, health, it's like we've done so much work up until now. Why would we stop? Like
Mhm.
I can't like all these years, all the sweat equity I've put in, all the bumps and bruises I've had, I have fallen down so many times. Like this has not been an easy ride for me by any stretch of the imagination. And so I can't imagine stopping now. Like it would just be like, well, why all that then? I should have gone to the island a long time ago, right? So I think sometimes we have to do that too. We have to look in the rearview mirror. A lot of people say, don't look in the rearview mirror. I think the opposite is important. We've got to look back to see how far we've come. We've got to look back to see our tenacity, our resilience, our strength. And when we gather that evidence, it's like that what is what fills us to keep going. But we're all gonna have moments where we doubt.
Mhm.
But so we should, because if we're not doing anything worthwhile and we're not stretching into that next evolution, I mean, when people say to me, I have imposter syndrome, I'm like, that is literally your partner, your assistant in growth. Because if I don't feel imposter syndrome, that's always my red flag to be like, ooh, Jen, you're not doing much in order to up level, to shift, to innovate, to think outside of the box. When I have imposter syndrome with me, I'm like, oh, I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm doing something that is bringing out fear in me. And so game on. Like let's do this. So
Mm.
those things don't have to work against you necessarily.
Mhm. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Welcome.
I could be here with you all day, Jen. How can people connect with you, learn more about the work that you do? How can they
Oh,
connect?
well, thank you for that generous offer and for allowing me to share. I would say becoming iconic on Instagram is where I do a lot of my thought leadership, business advice. I do tons of content over there to really support you in your evolution and growth. So that would be a great place to hang out. I'm also always in the DMs. So if you want to chat, ask me a question. It is me. I'm telling you right now, I don't have anybody in my socials. It's me. Even do my own post. So I'm in there all the time. I'd love to chat. The other thing that I think is really fun, a part of me that we didn't talk much about today, but is just this like beautiful passion and I would say creation that I made was the Iconic magazine. And so that is a beautiful asset for women and women who desire to learn about business, but also at the same time and simultaneously learn about how to have an iconic life. So my vision of this magazine, and it is come to life, is to infuse that lifestyle with business. So we're always casting a bigger vision of what we desire, what we want more of, fulfillment, pleasure, all the things. So the digital copy is complimentary, and that's at Iconic Magazine double underscore. So Iconic Magazine double underscore, you can go there, and the podcast is housed there as well. It's a top 100 podcast for entrepreneurs. So there's lots of really fun things over there. If you're someone who likes to look at things and read things or listen to things, that would be a great platform.
I have to say that is my most favorite thing about Mondays is when your episodes drop.
Oh, thank you. That's the best. Oh, thank you. You know, you're a podcaster, and maybe this is a little note I could give and a little love letter to you and your audience is like doing podcasts is such an enjoyable experience. I mean, look at us. We're sitting here and having a beautiful conversation with one another. I love the art of podcasting. Yet, there's time and finances and resources that go into producing this that you're doing. And then someone gets to enjoy this completely free, complimentary on the internet. And I do feel one of the best things that could a community of listeners could do is what you just did, share that it means something to them. subscribe, leave a review, share it on your Instagram with and tag, and make sure that you're sharing it with a friend. Like that act of generosity means so much to us as podcasters. So I'm just going to say to your community to make sure they're being very generous with you because it is the best feedback and soul food for us because a lot of energy goes into producing it.
It does. It certainly does. So thank you for sharing that.
Mm.
I also want to say I love how you've upped your game with your talking head videos on Instagram.
Oh,
It is epic. Just loving that creation.
that was me out of my comfort zone. I love a beautiful, polished editorial graphic. I do not want my face talking on the internet, but everybody tells me you must, Jen. So do you know the story of this that I did one? Oh, so my team was like, you need to start doing this. Enough is enough. They really held me to the fire. So it took me 3 hours. This is an honest to God truth. 3 hours to do a 3-minute video. Okay. I do this video, we put it up on the internet. It's like the cringiest thing I've ever seen. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I cannot create these videos. I will procrastinate. I'm not going to do it. It's not my style. It doesn't feel right to me. So I thought, fine. You know what? If we're going to do this, I'm going to hire myself a videographer. I'm going to do it the right way. So I had somebody come in, create the exact mood, lighting, like just being on brand for me, because that stuff really matters to me.
Yeah.
And I thought, that I can do. Sometimes scrappy branding and marketing, well, always for me, it doesn't align. And I would procrastinate. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't follow through. But this, like hiring someone who can come and make something, beautiful out of something that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable was the
Mhm.
best investment I made. And I really appreciate that. Although I still go, oh my gosh, look at these talking head videos.
And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, look at these videos. They are fantastic." So,
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I'll keep doing them.
yes, please do. Please do.
Okay.
One last question for you before we
Sure.
say goodbye for now. What is a message of hope that you can offer our community for those that are wanting to quit and wanting to throw in the towel or perhaps move to a deserted island?
Mm. I love the word hope, first of all. I
Mm,
always wanted a horse named Hope.
mm.
We have horses in our lives. And what a beautiful word. Okay, so I have a story to tell and a resource to offer the audience listening in. I would love everybody to get the book 3 Feet from Gold. It's a portion of the book from Think and Grow Rich, but it is an asset to have as an entrepreneur. I've probably read it dozens and dozens of times, so much so that the pages are all crinkled and the corners are all scored. So it is a great story, and I'll give you the highlight of the story. But I would love your audience to get that book and keep it by their bed so that they remember. So 3 Feet from Gold is this story. A gentleman realized where the biggest gold mine in North America was, and he went and bought all the equipment, and he was going to go and dig and find this biggest gold mine ever to be found. And they're digging and they're so excited. He's got this team and they keep digging and they're keeping each other going. They realize it's going to take some time. We're going to find it. We know it's here, and they're digging, and years go by. And throughout those years, some of the workers start to walk away. Some of the machines just aren't being used anymore because people have lost belief. They don't see it. They think there's no gold mine here. We've been trying and trying. And eventually, he loses his belief that there's a gold mine, and he sells all the equipment and he walks away. And he's just so disappointed with all the years lost. He's making it all wrong. Well, the person he sells the equipment to decides, well, let's just keep digging. I mean, why not? And 3 feet from where they stopped digging was the biggest gold mine ever found in North America.
Wow.
3 feet, not 300, not 3 miles, 3 feet.
Wow.
And so that story reminds me that we have to sometimes release our expectations around timelines, the way things are supposed to look. We've really got to be careful about what we're comparing ourselves to and whether that is helping us or distracting us. And I would say to everybody listening, you are 3 feet from gold. The only thing between you and success is that you keep going. And I promise, and it's a personal promise, you can come find me otherwise, that if you just keep digging, success is inevitable. It may not look the way you thought. It may not even be the path you originally took, but as long as you keep digging and putting one foot in front of the other, you keep showing up day after day, something will click eventually. That's why I say to my clients, we're doing this until dot, dot, dot. We're
Mhm.
doing this until, and I don't know what until is, but we're not going to stop until. And that's what I would love to leave your audience with.
Oh, what a gift of generosity. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Jen.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go buy that book. I have not read it
It's
yet.
such a
So,
good book. Such a
mhm.
good book. Yeah.
Mm. You are such a gift, such a blessing. I am so honored to have you in my world, and thank you so much for your time and just sharing so beautifully, authentically, and being the iconic you that you are.
Oh, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you to everybody listening in. I really appreciate your time.
Mwah.
Mwah.